Good evening, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Monday, May 2nd, 2022, the first full week of May, and what a night. And what a night we got today. Some NBA and NHL playoffs to all the ECSI VIPs. Hats off. A nice plus 105 to start the week as we took Scotty's buddy, Mr. Dylan Cease, who was in fuego today. First five minus the hook, and we cashed that. It was 2-0, I think, after five, or they might have scratched out the third one later. Final score 3-0, but we had the first five. I had talked on the show earlier today with Riley, and before they got steamed up, I talked about also the White Sox full game. In the morning was 126. By first pitch was around 140, 145 as Shotani was scratched, and I think Rendon also was scratched. So the funny thing is this. For all the VIPs out here that are happy that we started the week 1-0, I am too. But we've been put into that position about 10 times. And Scott will back me up on this. Today, top of the fifth, Cease, 2-0 lead with a one-hitter, facing the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. And can I tell you, we have lost more times in that spot this year than we've won? Whether it's Verlander, whether it was Wheeler, and there was 3 or 4 other games. But you get yourself, you want to be in that spot. And this time, C said not today, and he took care of business. But we're here at 6:15 to get you ready for tonight's slate. Short MLB slate, 2 NBA games, a handful of NHL games, and the VIPs, you've got first-round series. You got futures in the East and the West. You got an exacta if you're out at Circa. I told you guys who I think will be hoisting the cup, but we're a long, long, long way away from that. So without further ado, let's bring him in from the Palm Tree State himself, the one, the only, Mr. Scott E. Webb. Afternoon, Scotty.
How you doing, Jeff? It's a Monday, man, and we got 8 games I think today in Major League Baseball, and I got some playoff games going on in NBA, and for whatever reason, I don't know, we got the hockey games just now starting their playoff season. What does that mean? I mean, this is May 1st, May 2nd, right? So does that mean they're going to start, but they're still going to be playing in July?
No, they play at a quicker pace than basketball. Basketball's finals usually start in the first week of June. The cup will end right at the end of May usually. So they make sure the NBA's got the stage to themselves, put it that way. And for the final, 10 days that they hope for basketball. And then we'll have I'd say about 4 weeks or 3 weeks till the MLB All-Star break. And then everyone else will run to the hills because it's time to take the 6-week hiatus and get ready for football.
Hey, so what do you think of these games tonight, man? You got 1, 2, 3 games that the lines are 6.5 total. 6.5 on 3 games. And Scherzer's not pitching in any of those 3 games. So holy smokes. No, nobody believes in offense, right?
Well, maybe Vegas is getting the wink from the MLB, telling them if they're using the good balls or the bad balls.
Well, I don't know. If they're white and they got red seams on them, man, they're baseballs to me. So, who knows, man? This stuff is funny. I was listening. I heard 2 managers and 3 managers talk about the baseballs, and then I've heard pitchers talking about the baseballs, but who knows? I don't know. But
now,
the league batting average is 233 now. It's moved up 2 points.
No, it's moved up 2 points. Look out. Duck boats and parades next. Looking at the MLB board tonight, I talked to a few of our clients. I am happier to grab my 1.05 plus money and run to the hills. I do have some leans, and I know what my eyes are telling me. My eyes are telling me that you're supposed to take Freed tonight. And then our buddy at SoCal DGen, I think Bassett, in his last 15 starts at home versus a team versus a team with a losing record, the team has won 15 straight. Some crazy number like that. That's number one. Number two, I'm not buying the flip Toronto to the Yankees, even though I had no problems with anyone that wants to back Montgomery tonight. I thought Strickland looked pretty good his last start for a couple innings that I saw him. And you know my thoughts on Odorizzi. If that game doesn't put up double digits, there ought to be an investigation. And your boy, Mr. Rasmussen, took the gas pipe last game, and I would be all in on the Rays minus the hook first 5 here. And I'm not beating up Oakland. I mean, because Oakland currently, I think, still has 10 wins. Hold on. Yeah, Oakland's 10-12. The Rays only got 2 more wins, but I like the edge here of the first 5 there. But that's just the eye test from what I'm seeing.
So this game, Arizona and Miami, is interesting to me. I don't know how many people know who Zach Gallen is, but Zach Gallen's a good pitcher. Now, Zach Gallen was a Miami Marlin. He got traded to Arizona, and I forget which deal it was in, but whatever. He got traded over to Arizona from Miami. This is the first time he's had the opportunity to have a payback game. So I like Lopez as best as all the Miami pitchers. So this is an interesting game for me, and I can understand why that number is a 6.5 for the total. And I can see, minus 160. Lopez is going to start getting some numbers thrown on him. So I'm just going to stay off the game because at 6.5, I'm not going to play that game as a total, and I'm not going to sit there and go, let's play on Miami to cover the 1.5 or play on minus, because they might not. Miami struggles to hit the ball too. So when I was looking at the numbers today, the team with the lowest batting average in all of Major League Baseball is not the Cincinnati Reds. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're the only team now under 200.
Can I just say this? We had the Cardinals in our 3-team parlay yesterday with the Guardians, but of course the Phillies let us down, but that's for another story. Do you know that the Diamondbacks had 6 hits yesterday at one point, and 4 of them were solo homers? I mean, where the hell did that come from?
Listen, man, this is Major League Baseball. These are the best players in the world, and I get it. They don't look like it sometimes, but shit, just watch that goddamn KBO stuff that we were forced to watch there for a while. I mean, it was entertaining. It was fun. I mean, if you watch it now, you can watch Puig play and stuff. But this is Major League Baseball. These are the best players in the world. So, you're gonna see weird stuff happen, and these guys are gonna hit the ball. Guys you never heard of are gonna hit home runs, and it's just Major League Baseball. It's the way it is. So I'm staying away from that Arizona-Miami game because I can't figure it out. I think it's going to be a good pitching battle. I don't really like either one of their bullpens, to be honest. So if anything, I like Miami's offense better than I like Arizona's offense. But you sit here and say that, and they split the series. Listen to this. They just split the series at St. Louis. They 2-2 at St. Louis. And they won the series against the Dodgers. And
Arizona is 10-13.
Right.
I know the first week, the first 10 days, we were talking about just keep going against them, and they were playing it at home.
Right. So this is what happens. I mean, it's Major League Baseball. You may never ever get to bet on Arizona the rest of the year. So if you're going to bet on them, man, you better get it in because, you might have 6 more months or 5 more months of, okay, I'm going to bet against Arizona every day. But the next game is the game I want to play, and this is the game I want to talk about. This is Minnesota and Baltimore. And this is Paddock against the Wells. And I will tell you that I'm not a big Chris Paddock guy. I thought I was 2 years ago, but he just never blossomed into that guy that's oh my God, you got to watch him go pitch every day. I mean, he's got the scene, right? He wears cowboy hat and cowboy boots and walks around like he's some gunslinger or something. He's got that look. But I will tell you this. His xFIP and Sierra numbers are as good as anybody today for the most part. It's 2.75, 2.84. That's really good. And Wells is no good. 4.37, 4.19. Wells' last start was a game score of 55. His game score for the season's a 42. So he's a well below average pitcher who pitched really good the last time out. Okay, guess what's going to happen to his ass? So I look at Minnesota here with, okay, we got a pretty good edge on the mound. And then where are we at on offense with Minnesota? So if I go back and I put my numbers back to where I want them, Minnesota is 5th in offense. So I think that means that they have the ability or the capability to take advantage of the poor pitcher. So when you start to break it down even farther, you go and say, okay, well, both of these guys, and Paddock's real close. He's at 7.98 strikeouts per 9 innings. So that's a little bit below average. But Wells is 6.92, a lot below average. So if your strikeouts are low, that means they're not striking out. You're going to depend on your defense. So that means the balls are going to be put in play. So then if you look at it, so here's Wells, batting average against 269. And Jeff, we just talked about how the batting averages are all way low, and he's at 269. So that's not very good. And then his whip rate's 1.38. So he's got 1.4 guys on base every inning. And he only has a 43.9% ground ball rate, and he's got a 41.5% fly ball rate. So that's important when you're going to understand that you're not going to strike guys out much. So balls are going to be put in play. And if he's got a lot of them that are fly balls, those are damaging blows. So I like the idea that Minnesota can capitalize here. And then when I flipped it one more time. Let me get over to the thing right here. I flipped it one more time, and I'm looking at quality pitches now, right? So I'm looking at this Wells kid, and Wells has a negative fastball. He's not good on the fastball. He's not good on the slider. He's not good on the curveball, and he's barely good on a changeup. So he's got 4 pitches, and 3 of them he ain't doing good at. So I'm looking at this, and I'm going, okay, Paddock's got a pretty good spot here. The Twins got a pretty good spot here. My number's a little bit higher than what these numbers are, but I'm not going to play him on the money line. I'm going to play him on the first 5 minus the half a run. And the reason for that is the number 2 bullpen going right now is in Baltimore. So I'm going to stay off of that because I think we're at a disadvantage there. So I'm just going to play it first 5 minus a half a run, and that number is minus 105. And then the rest of the games I think are interesting. And let me get to my other thing. Boom, there we go. And I think the rest of the games are in it. This Montgomery Stripling game, I had Yankees written down. I'm going to bet Yankees, and then I said, no, I ain't going to bet the Yankees. And the reason for that is just what you said kind of in the open here is that Stripling has been a little better than what he had normally has been. Now, you remember back when he pitched for the Dodgers when he first got there, he actually was pretty good.
He was.
And then they moved him along, and the Blue Jays thought they were getting somebody pretty good. Well, he wasn't very good. And he hadn't been very good. And he's sort of filling in right now a spot. And his game score is 56 for the year. That's pretty good. And to be honest with you, Montgomery's game score is 57. So the difference, though, is that the xFIP and Sierra numbers are all favoring Stripling. They're not favoring Montgomery. And Montgomery's not a big strikeout guy, 6.7 strikeouts. So that means they're going to hit him. And he's had some poor success against them in the past. So there's no way I'm going to step in front of that. And I like the idea they've won 9 straight games. I like the idea that they just came off a sweep and all that stuff. But who are they sweeping? I mean, I get it. you still won 9 straight games, but no disrespect, but you beat the Royals and the Guardians. Okay. So this is not the Royals. This is not the Guardians, even though, Stripling could probably pitch for both of them. So you've still got guys to get, you got to get out. So I'm going to leave that one alone. Mm-hmm. And I really want to play Atlanta today, but I am not going to go get in front of 9 straight wins from the Mets. Or how many? No, not 9. I think they've won. I think they only lost 1 game in the last 10, something like that. So I'm going to stay off of that. And Atlanta just got beat up by the Rangers. But you're supposed to bet on Fried. That's who you're supposed to bet on. Bassett's game score last time out was a 71. That's pretty high. He's a 63 on the season. He's had 1 bad start. That's it. He had a 71 to start, 42, 64, 75. Remember at the beginning of the year, we talked about him and we said this was probably, oh my God. And
I got him at 40. I thought he was at 40-1.
Dude, I'm telling you. And I think I said it back then. I said, you know what? He's going to have more wins than Max Scherzer's going to have. And it's because of the matchups. Okay, well, he didn't get a good matchup today. And then I was looking at the lineups and I sit here and I go, okay, so Acuna against I don't know, whoever's leading off for the Mets, Nemo or somebody. And I'm like, okay, I'll take Acuna. And then the next one down is such and such. I'll take the Braves guy. And the next one down, I'll take the Braves guy. And I keep taking the Braves guy all the way down the damn lineup. And I sit here and go, okay, this can't be. It can't be that. Well, Bassett's just a bulldog, man. But he pitched a great game the last time out. And the Seattle-Houston game is real interesting because this is a flip, meaning that these 2 teams just played each other not too long ago, and these 2 pitchers just faced each other. And in that game, Gonzalez threw a game score 76. You know what his game score for the season is? 37. And he threw a 76 in that game. So he threw a 35, 35, 76, and then a 0. He got killed. A 0. Well, at least he didn't get a minus. You can get minus in game score. So I sit here and I go, holy Christ, he's going to get killed again because they just saw him. They're going to hit him. And Odorizzi, he threw a game score 32 against them. So that means he's going to throw good. Okay, well, then you go back and go, well, what'd they just do? Well, Gonzalez off a game score 35, Odorizzi off a game score 66. Shit, they're both going to get killed. So I don't know what's going to happen in that game. I know that Seattle. I was on twice. We didn't win either time when they were playing Miami, and then the time I didn't play them, they did win. I think that there's. This is tough for Seattle. Seattle has to win these games. Houston doesn't. Houston's going to beat up everybody else. So Seattle's not necessarily going to go beat up everybody else. They didn't beat up the Marlins. And then this Tampa Bay Oakland game, the Rasmussen is pretty good. Jeffries is he's better than I thought he was, but he's a little bit above average, but not great. And I don't like to bet Oakland when Oakland's not hitting. And I think Oakland right now on offense is 18th. And Tampa Bay, even though they have been struggling a little bit against the Twins, they're hitting 12th. So, they're still top of half. And you got Oakland in the bottom half. But that number is too crazy to me. I mean, that's a big number. But it's based off the idea that, Oakland's only going to win like 65, 66 games, something like that. So anyway, I only have one play, and I played Minnesota Paddock in the first 5. The other thought that I had in that game is I think balls are going to be put in play, and I think that you're going to see some scoring. And that game's only a total 7.5. Minnesota might get 7 by themselves. So I think over 7.5 is probably a good idea too.
Again, looking at the baseball board, I think the Gallen Lopez will be a good matchup. I'm not going to go dive into Miami. Lopez has been lights out. We had Craig on Friday, and he was giving me shit because I should have had him instead of Luzardo, which I get it. I was just looking for a price and there. But I mean, if you wanted to get in there, I would try to get into the first five. But Arizona's been sneaky. There again, we talked about Fried. I like Minnesota and Paddock. I think he's rounding into form. I think, again, I keep going back to the opening game against the Dodgers, new team. He's in the American League now. I think he's starting to get his sea legs. I like Minnesota first five tonight. Again, I'm not going to bet the New York-Toronto game. I'm not buying the flip, though, but also, as you said, I'm not getting in front of the Yankees with 1 night in a row. Seattle, Houston, I'd bet the over and keep punching tickets, but I suck in overs anyway, so what's it matter? And I just think Tampa's primed for a good spot here, and Rasmussen for a good bounce back against Oakland in the first five there. In the baskets, I just wanted to give everyone some heads up. The line on the breakfast bankroll was 7.5. And I know I saw a dip to 6 unless it moved back. Hold on one second. No, it's back to 7.5. There was some 6s and 6.5s. Now it's 8. They got some buyback on Philly earlier today. Listen, I know it's an overreaction because Embiid's out. They're looking as how can we get some Philly money? I'm not going to touch the game. Does the Heat win? I think they do. Do they cover the 7.5, 8? I'm not going to find out. So staying away from there. And Dallas Phoenix again opened at 5.5. It's 6s now straight across the board. I think Vegas is pretty spot on with this, with an under over at 212.5, now 214.5, 110, 104, somewhere around there. I think that's where Vegas is telling us right now. I like what Dallas has done, but Phoenix again will probably win this series. I'm not touching that one either. But we're just staying away from the NBA. Hockey. Now, for us on the ECSI, the VIPs, again, for hockey, we're not going to go in game to game. If we're on a series game, we're up 2-0, we're traveling to the road team, we'll take a swing on them to try to get a half unit. If we win, we win. If we lose, well, we're up 3-0 in the series. We'll just wait to collect our half unit there. Anyone that's been listening to our shows religiously, Mr. Lucky, Billy, and so on, you guys know where we're going here, Boston and Carolina. I'll just repreface some of this stuff here, guys. Carolina, 3-0 against the Bruins, have outscored them 16-1. Yet the series opened up basically as a pick 'em. So I was born at night, not last night. You know who you're supposed to take in this series. Tampa, Toronto, defending Stanley Cup champs. Toronto can't win the first round. We know that. It's fact. Go back and keep looking and looking. When's the last time they won in the first round? Toronto opens up at 130 in the series, now minus 115. You know where you're supposed to go there. St. Louis, Minnesota. Minnesota opened up minus 165, guys. It's down to 140. They got their Blues money. You know where you're supposed to go there. LA, Edmonton. Edmonton's favored by a bazillion to win the series. I think it'll be a fun series. In hockey, you don't get a lot of 6s. You usually see 5.5s, but I see 2 6.5s and a 6 there. I think Edmonton wins this series, but we have no stake in any of that for any of the series. So with all that said, Scotty, any closing thoughts today?
Well, I think that we have some interesting series going on. And what is that thing they famously say? You can't win a division in the month of April, but you can lose one. I will tell you that there's some teams that need to figure some things out pretty quick. Not that all the teams have run away from everybody, like everybody's making a big deal out of the White Sox, right? And the slow start that the White Sox have. And they're 9-13, which is not great, but 9-13 is only 4 games back. No, they're not in a division where things are getting getting crazy. What you got to look at is, and I hate to say this, but because I got a Boston guy on the other side of this thing over here, but I will say that Boston, I mean, they're 9-14. Okay, well, I mean, that's not much different than the White Sox, but they're 7.5 back. You got to be careful about that number. that number can't get to 11, 12, 13 real fast, and it could. So they gotta turn some things around in Boston. Everybody thought Detroit was going to be great, but they're not going to be. I think there's a lot going on with some of this stuff that you just got to watch for, and teams just got to be careful that they don't get too crazy, and just if it's the middle of May and you're 10 games back, that's not the end of the world, but you got a lot of ground to make up at 10 games back. If you're only 3 games back, shit, that's a weekend series. So they're going to have to cover some ground and do some things. And they're going to have to start taking certain things more serious than others when you're that far back. If you're a quote contending team, or thought you were a contending team, which I assume, Boston probably thought they were. And who knows? They could still get to that point. Whereas with about the same record, I'm way less worried about the White Sox, only because they don't got to go catch somebody that's way the hell ahead of them. So that's the only food for thought is offense is coming. I know it didn't show up this morning. We had a 1-0 game and a 3-0 game, but it's going to come. And batting 233, not that that's the greatest thing in the world, because it's pretty shitty. But they only batted 243 or something like that last year, so they got to get going. But it's offense is coming.
You talked about that 7.5, and the locals were talking about it today. And we just turned to the month of May, and you just lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. And again, you talked about the Orioles back end and their relievers. We just couldn't score, and it's been a problem for a while now. I'd be interested to see if the Sox take Whitlock out of that rotation, enable him to be able to come out 2 and 3 times a week versus every 5 days. That's number 1 there. Number 2, the unfortunate part is you could be looking up at 3 teams this year, which is the Jays that we've talked about at length. We talked about your Rays, and then obviously now the Yankees getting off to a hot start. Now, the difference the last couple of years, is if the Yankees don't get off to a hot start, they were the ones chasing. We kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and it never happened. Now they're getting out to a fast start, which builds the momentum. And as you get closer to the All-Star break and the trade deadline, then you become buyers and not sellers. But last year they were buyers. They added Rizzo, they added Gallo, and this year they'll probably just need some front end, maybe a little tweak in the back end. But, for the Sox, unfortunately, going to be a long season, and there's no way around it. And I see everyone spitting venom already. I get it. But I have to ask you this, you're yelling at Bloom, and you're yelling at the front office, and you're yelling at everyone because they traded Renfroe. They didn't bring Schwarber back. And so on and so forth. Well, you had a dream season last year. You really did. And you played above your skis. You beat the Yankees in a playoff game. Then you win your first round series. And then you took the Astros to 6 games. So I didn't expect much. I do expect them to play a lot better. The summer goes a lot better in Boston and Cape Cod when the Sox are playing and playing well. So with that, VIPs, take your money and run. We had a good day today. We'll look at the board tomorrow. You got all your hockey information. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know how to hit me up. You can DM me. You can text me. If you're on the Discord channel, you can chat away. Other than that, if you are wagering today, please do it responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scotty care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from my partner in crime, Scotty Webb at Webby20 MLB, we wish everyone a blessed evening. Have some fun, enjoy the playoffs, and we'll see you in the morning.